Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Sunbury Motors, North 4th Street in Sunbury, and Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf.
Bring in Rob Cooper. Coop, congrats on a great win yesterday. It's great to have you with us.
I appreciate it. Good to be back on, man. Hope you're doing well.
I hope you're doing well. It's great to see you over at football practice the other day. When I've gone to games, this is what I've noticed, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Your team plays with joy. They love playing. That's my observation. Is that fair?
No, you're dead on. They really they play for each other. They really truly do. It's they honor each other because they love each other. They honor each other by their effort, how they go out. They're not they are willing to pick each other up. And they value the opportunities that they get to play and practice together, because every season ends at some point for every team. And, these guys truly value being around each other. And they, I made the statement last night that they play for each other. And you're dead on.
All right, so let's get to Matt Wood for a moment. Matt Wood.
Just for a moment?
Yeah. But Matt Wood, I want to say has like a 3.7 GPA or somewhere in that neighborhood. And the only thing higher than his GPA is his batting average. When you look at him as an all-around individual, and we'll get to the baseball skills in a moment, what do you see in Matt Wood, the all-around individual?
Well, Steve, he is one of those kids that you only come across, once in a great while. I mean, everything you just said is right. He is a great student. He is a great player. He's an unbelievable human being, and he's a leader. He cares about every single guy in the locker room. You don't have to be an everyday player. He treats the managers and the grounds crew like he treats, everyone else. And when you have somebody like that sets the tone every day on how you approach the game, how you compete, how you treat people, upholding the standard, then your team's going to be better. And the thing that he does, it's funny, he's not a real vocal guy. Like but when he speaks, it commands attention because guys know that, especially being a catcher, this kid's out there every single day going through it. And, he doesn't ever complain about being banged up, bruised, or whatever. But I tell this story to people all the time about Matt. Matt committed to us, after his sophomore year in high school. And about a week later, my oldest son made the decision to come here. And, they're both catchers. And the very first person to call Tyson, not text, call, was Matt Wood. And, that tells you he never flinched. It was, he didn't care about who you'd have to compete against. It was, sweet, this guy's going to be on the team. Let's be teammates and help us win.
As he's also a left-handed hitter. Give everybody an idea of the value of what a left-handed hitting catcher can mean at every level.
Yeah, man. I mean, first of all, it's a guy that is extremely accomplished behind the plate. I mean, He can really receive. He can really block. He's got his arm strength up. You know
what I've noticed too? That you tell me if I'm wrong about this. I feel like his transfer has bought him like he's cut down an extra step on a guy going to second because of his transfer.
100%. His footwork and the glove to hand is really, really, really good. And early in his career here, scouts will be like, "Oh, do you think he'll be able to throw and pro ball?" And I'm like, "Well, the footwork and transfer are already there. Arm strength can come, and he's adding that. But yeah, that left-handed bat, and it's just such a repeatable swing. And he hits lefties, he hits velocity, he hits soft guys. He hits from basically pole to pole and opens up the entire field. And he had 26-game hitting streak as a catcher. I mean, it's hard enough to get a 10-game hitting streak as a DH, but he did a 26-game hitting streak as an everyday catcher. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And by the way, if I recall correctly, his high school was Pine Richland, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now let's get to last night because that's caught the attention of a lot of people. And by the way, Coop had already said he was coming on the show before they scored 14 runs in the ninth inning, just so everybody knows. What did you see something like that happen? What was it like for you watching this play out in the top of the ninth inning?
Well, it's funny. For the first 7.5 innings, I thought we played our most complete, solid, great. It was a great ball game, both sides, energy. It was great atmosphere playing at PNC, and then we have that hiccup there in the bottom of the eighth, and as we go to the top of the ninth, I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm going to go on Steve's show tomorrow and talk about how we coughed up a Class 1 lead. But no, you know what? Honestly, the one thing about this team is we've been behind before, and they've really – you watch teams evolve throughout the year and get better or get worse, and one of the things that we've gotten better at, and it goes back to just playing for each other. There was – so many coaches say this, but it was really true. There was no flinch in our guys after that inning. It was like, all right, they had their shot. Now it's our turn. And they unloaded. And it was just – but I don't know if I've ever really seen anything like that output in that inning, but it was just the common connection and belief and togetherness of that entire team that was, it was just so cool to be a part of. And then, you look at a guy like Josh Spiegle, who is basically a Pittsburgh native, grew up going to Pirates games, big, and to hit basically a game-winning home run, way out. I mean, what a memory he'll have for the rest of his life. That's just so cool.
And Josh, by the way, you DH Matt last night, and Josh caught. What about the job that on the mound that you got from Tommy Molsky, Jordan Morales, Stephen Miller, and then Carson Coles finished up for you last night?
Yeah, you know what, Steve? We kind of made a decision in the fall that we felt like, because of COVID and a bunch of other things, like we felt like we had a lot of really good arms, but we just didn't feel like any of them had the true experience or it had gone through the wars a little bit. And so, we kind of just felt like, all right, we're going to do a little bit of what's going on in pro ball right now. We're going to pitch guys almost in a bullpenning type thing, and we're going to let their stuff play up even more. And right now I think we have 10 or 11 guys that have started a game and closed out a game. Yeah. And they've done a great job of it. And, if we can lock this thing up and get to the tournament, I think that's going to be extremely valuable to us. But the thing that I keep telling people is, about 5 years ago, I brought that up with our pitching staff at the time, doing something similar. And I mean, the pushback was so strong. I mean, the guys were like, "Oh no, we can't do that. It's not. I got to know if I'm pitching on Friday. I got to know this." And so we didn't do it, because they didn't buy in. But this group is bought in, and that takes a lot. And it starts with guys like Tyler Shingledecker and Steve Miller and Travis Lunsman and all those guys that are like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I want to be the Friday night guy. But if me coming in the third inning on Saturday is going to be our best option to win, then I'm all in. And so it's been working for us, but it has no chance if they don't buy in. And so I give the players all the credit. Right.
And this is going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday with Illinois.
Correct.
Now, in some ways it feels like this is fun because it feels like it's a playoff atmosphere with the Big Ten tournament coming up. But because of the pitching approach, right, you don't really have to play it differently, do you?
No, we're going to play it the exact same way we've been playing.
Right. See, so I mean, because you and I both know, you get to the playoffs, how often you see everything like changes. I'm talking about the Major League Baseball playoffs.
Yep.
Everybody changes up. Suddenly, a guy comes in, he's a little earlier, the whole deal. You don't have to do that with what you've done with this team.
No, and again, that's something we've talked about with them, and because they bought in, they treated it like that. So, we're going to – Jaden Henline will start the game tomorrow, and then everybody's available to try to help us win the game. And then when tomorrow's game's over, we'll set it up for Saturday and go from there.
Okay. You set it up for Friday.
I'm sorry, Friday.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No,
Yeah.
this happens all the time. So I always love when I'm listening to the afternoon games in basketball and everybody says tonight. You're like, no, it's this afternoon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but Headline's been good for you. I mean, he started 6 games for you. He's got a nice solid ERA for you, and he's like 4-1 strikeouts to walks. Pretty good.
Yeah, man, he's been really good. And the thing I have to continue to remind myself and remind other people is, and there's a lot of this going on in college baseball right now just because, COVID in 20 and then last year, especially for Big Ten teams, we didn't get to play non-cons. And so a guy like Jaden Henline, opportunities that he would have had pitching midweeks or non-conference games and things like that, they weren't there. And so some of the struggles that he's had this year, stuff that he would have figured out in a normal year. Like this part of the reason why I'm so proud of our team because, we go to UVA at spring break, and, I mean, we got destroyed. They're a good team, and we got destroyed. And I remember telling our guys on Sunday, I said, all right, listen, I'm not an excuse maker, but listen to me. I said, we got 39 guys on this team, and only 5 of you have actually had a regular 12-month experience at Penn State,
right.
Where you take classes in person and fall practice and all that kind of stuff. And at that time, too, I said, we have one guy on our roster, one, that has actually played in 56 games, which is a normal college season. And that was Matt Wood at the time. He played in his 56 game.
Right.
So as the season's gone on and more guys have gotten in there and learned and made mistakes and learned from it, you've seen us play better. And so Jaden's a perfect example of that. And he's done an unbelievable job. I mean, he comes from a winning program, Redland High School, and pitching the Little League World Series. And
yes.
So
Yep.
It's been fun.
You're also 13-7 at home. And I think that's made a difference for you. Just because what has been the comfort level of playing in Medlar that maybe other teams didn't have? Now, talent makes a difference as well, but they've been a much, much better home team this year. Why?
Well, obviously, I think anytime you get to play at home, it
right.
should benefit
right.
you. I mean,
no doubt.
You get to stay with your routine, but one of the things is, just about every program in our conference now has turf, because of the weather in the Big Ten, you need it.
Right.
And so when you come here, and turf is a great thing. Turf is something that,
fine.
can make your team better. But from an infielder standpoint, if you haven't been playing on natural grass, it can be a tough adjustment. And then the other thing too is, understanding that here at Medlar, the ball doesn't go anywhere. So if you're willing, it does. You've seen enough games here. Like, so the weather really breaks.
Okay. Well, that's the difference, though. It's going to be Friday and Saturday is going to be like it's August.
Right. And so knowing that if you're a pitcher, if I'm going to go and just get ahead of guys and get on the attack, then good things can happen. And so I think it's just a lot of that. And then it just goes back again to the commitment to each other.
Yeah.
The one thing, Steve, is that these guys just have a tremendous amount of pride in playing baseball at Penn State, and they love this university. And so when they're here, they care, and they care wherever, but they don't want to defend the home turf.
Well, this has been as fun a season as I've seen around here in a while. Look, it's not like other seasons that haven't been fun, but there's something about this team that's just a little bit different. And you've worked hard to get this roster to where it is right now. You and your staff have worked very hard to get it to this point.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and it has been a lot of fun. But I will say this again. Look, I've made a lot of mistakes while I've been here, and I wish we were farther along for sure. But here's the truth: is that there isn't a ton of stuff that we're doing a lot differently as a coaching staff or whatever. But when you have guys that fully buy in and they don't care about what they get out of it, they want to win, then really, really good things can happen. And that's what's going on. So again, I give our guys all the credit in the world because they're the ones making it happen.
Well, good luck with this weekend starting tomorrow. It is a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 o'clock tomorrow, 6 o'clock on Friday for people. I think it's 1 o'clock Saturday, I think.
Yeah, and that time's going to move up. We just haven't announced it yet. It's because we just found out that Illinois has a travel curfew, so that'll be coming out here soon as far as what time that game will start on Saturday.
No, that's fine. And but first things first, take care of Thursday. Hey, cool.
Yep. Thanks, man.
I think it's always one at a time. Like, it's a cliche.
Well,
it's a reality.
Yeah, I got people asking me, well, what happens? Because I don't know. I just know first pitch is at 5 on Thursday. Okay,
win Thursday. Okay,
right.
And guess what you do when you're done Thursday? You worry about Friday.
It's always to me. It goes back to the Bill Belichick press conference answer where it's like, well, what do you think about Seagulls? Hey guys, all I'm worried about is trying to have a really good practice today. And that's the truth,
right.
Man.
And if he's a pain in the neck, he's not wrong.
Okay. No.
Coop, great having you on the show. Thoroughly,
I appreciate it.
As you know, always enjoy any time I get to spend with you. And I've really enjoyed watching your team play the season, the chances I've had to sneak in there. So,
well, I appreciate it. And when the season's over, I'll come back on and we'll try to figure out how to fix the Red Sox bullpen this year.
I know one thing I would do. Okay? Literally, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Right? I'd make Chris Sale the closer. I wouldn't start him.
I wouldn't hate it.
No, because, in other words, I think he is effective for, he's effective one inning, maybe two, and I think you take advantage of that. Why not?
Yep.
That's just me.
I'm with you.
All right.
All right, guys. You have a good one.